So Lizzie decided to start the episode with a loaf of bread.
Mm-hmm.
And a bun in the oven.
Never go anywhere without your cinnamon bread.
Oh,
It'll make you less nauseous.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, I have a prescription for nausea, and I swear, like, it makes me so nauseous to take. It's not worth it. Because you have to let it, like, sit on your tongue and dissolve. And by that time, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to throw up.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. The irony's not lost on me.
I mean, I love me some cinnamon bread, though. I'm not a bread girl, but throw me some cinnamon bread.
Is that cinnamon bread or plain bread?
Cinnamon bread.
Okay, it looks like plain bread, and I was like, well.
Yeah, it's like the little cinnamon swirl.
That's a good choice. It's a good choice.
I thought so till I was shamed for it.
I wasn't. I so wasn't shaming for it. It was just like textbook pregnant person. Like 1 minute, like you're chilling, and the next minute you had bread in your hand, and I'm like, where did she manifest this bread?
I have a bag of snacks. I don't go anywhere without it.
It's very on point, honestly.
So obviously it's been a while since we've recorded due to Lizzie's now present condition, which is the great news. Lizzie is pregnant.
Which is not just bloated.
Yes,
I am bloated, but not just bloated. There's a little baby in there.
A baby.
You're looking more preggers every time I see you.
You look so cute with your glasses on.
Yeah.
A little pixie cut.
It's a whole vibe.
It looks good on you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yep. Little mommy to be. But other than that, everything's normal. It's the same.
Yeah. That's good, though.
How about y'all?
Pretty good. I mean, I would say it's been crazy, but it's kind of settling down. Just visited my family, so that was kind of nice. Oh my gosh. My grim, though, is that, like, just to get to New Jersey, it essentially took everything to get there.
Seriously?
Like, yeah, we got
Did you
it was
fly
to
or
the
drive?
point fly. Okay. So like we had to get a flight that was like a layover into like Michigan. And so from Michigan to New Jersey, we had to catch another flight. And while we were on that flight in the air, we were just chilling. It's not a long flight to get to New Jersey from Michigan.
Right.
And then they're just like, yeah, we've been circling in the air for a while now.
Oh, God.
And we're like, what? And they're like, yep, so the Newark airport is closed. It's not letting us land. We're going to have to fly all the way back to Detroit.
No way.
Yeah.
Did they ever say why?
Mad.
Because of the weather. And
Okay.
meanwhile, my brother and my sister-in-law were just like, I mean, it's raining a little bit, but it's not anything crazy. So I don't know if it was like right at their location or just like we would have gone into like bad storming conditions to get there. I don't know, but they apparently weren't letting any flights into Newark because of weather.
Okay.
That's
interesting.
crazy.
Because I had heard on aviation news, oh gosh, it wasn't too long ago, but there were like strikes going on in Newark and stuff with like I don't know if it was ATC or ramp workers, somebody in the aviation staff. So I didn't know if maybe that
was
had
Thursday.
something to do with it, but
Thursday.
We're short staffed. Can't.
it was a few weeks ago.
plane.
But I didn't know if it was continuing to
like
play into
Interesting.
something. But
yeah. So then we had to go do a layover in Florida.
oh.
Yeah, they sent us to Florida, and so me and my sister just went to the beach because we were like, well, while we're here,
Might as
might as
well.
well.
But
How
it wasn't
long-
for that long.
I
It
was
was
gonna say.
like we only really got to be at the beach for like a couple hours, which
Okay.
is more than enough actually.
Yeah.
But by the time we got to New Jersey, I was just like so tired, and then we had to take a very early flight back on Sunday morning. So it just felt like we were like, hey, bye.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
Right.
just a quick pop in.
But it was still fun to see everyone. So
Yeah,
That's
that's
good.
good.
How
I'm
long
glad
were
you
you
made
there?
the most of it.
canceling out, we were there for like maybe 36 hours, maybe.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, not even that long.
Because of like the layovers and stuff, it just eats away time. You
Tell
know,
me
we had
about
to
it.
spend the night over into the airport. So
Flight attendant over there is like,
Yeah,
no.
that sounds 36 hours is a pretty good layover in our book. So
I mean, I didn't sign up for that. I bought my ticket for a reason. Just get me there
Fair
and get me
enough.
home. So
fair enough.
yeah.
Well, my grim was it's kind of a grim and a great. The grim was that when Chancellor let the dogs out this morning, there was a wolf spider apparently right outside the door, and Goose went for it.
Nice.
So he pulled Goose away from the wolf spider, but I guess it exploded, and it was pregnant, and there were a bunch of baby wolf spiders.
It's so cool looking. I'm
That-
sorry. Y'all know I like bugs, right?
This is a grim moment, Lizzie. And they
so
all ran inside her
fascinating.
house. They all ran inside her house.
I'm sorry. I would have played with them.
Oh my God. They're supposed to be poisonous, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
A wolf spider? Look it up.
I thought you were reaching for your phone, but you're just a piece of bread.
I was, and then my dumb ass was like,
food.
oh yeah, I'm recording.
So he had to go and kill all of them. He killed most of them. And then he spent the morning running around the perimeter, inside and outside of the house with pesticide.
He couldn't catch them and then set them free?
No.
Okay.
That was a lot. Like, he
You
said
guys
20.
get like
That makes me sad.
you guys get like pest control every like I don't know 3 months.
I think he's arranging that now.
Yeah, me and my sister have Orchid. You guys should check them out. They're pretty good.
Okay, I'll look into it. But
Yeah.
the good news, the great news, is that I slept in through all of that.
Didn't have to deal with it.
Yeah. He comes in the room later, and I'm like just waking up and getting out of bed, and he goes, "Oh yeah, all of this happened." I was like, "Oh."
Have you ever seen like when you smush a pregnant spider and it
I've
goes?
seen it before. It's crazy.
It's so cool.
It's kind of disturbing.
I did
That's
not
the
know
word
you
I
like
would
bugs.
use. But you know,
Yeah.
I will say though, spiders are good for catching other.
Yeah, they're
bugs
good for
and
the
stuff,
environment.
though too. Like they're really good for the environment. So
Yeah.
I tend to like not freak out too much when I see spiders. Now when I see a cockroach,
I'll just call me.
I don't like those.
I'll catch it for you.
suckers.
Different story.
I won't kill it, but I'll catch it and then release it.
Pretty sure
Cockroaches are
wolf spider is
nasty.
poisonous. We're gonna have to
Maybe.
Look
I'm
it
gonna
up.
fact
I
check
know a
that.
black
Honestly.
widow spiders is poisonous, and those ones are seen around here.
Yeah.
So.
Wolf spiders are harmless, but again, I don't have Google on me.
Yeah,
Okay.
No.
that's okay. But anyway,
Thank goodness we're not the
We'll
Animal
update
Planet
you
podcast.
on the next podcast.
have you watched the Ryan Reynolds one on Hulu?
What?
It's called The Underdogs. It's a new like Planet Earth
I saw it.
type of
I
series.
want to.
I started
Yeah.
watching it last night, and it's pretty funny.
Ryan
Yeah.
Reynolds is
I
trying to
love
make a
him.
comeback after the whole situation with him and Blake Lively.
What happened with them?
Oh, it's not him necessarily. Well, he got
Mm.
involved after the fact,
Kind
but it was Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Colleen
yeah.
Hoover's film.
Yeah, so
What
I
is it
knew about
called?
all that stuff. What happened with the husband? Like he's her husband, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
so essentially he like went 10 toes down with his wife, which is like
Mhm.
kind of sort of you should,
Sure.
but also too like he kind of said a couple slimy things as well. And then the aftermath of it now is that they pretty much got clocked on all the ish that they were going up against Justin with, and it all has been retracted from them. And because
Okay.
they're like, oh shoot, we actually don't have a case. And Justin was like, oh no. So it's right now Justin's kind of like, oh no, I'm not done with you yet.
Actually, yeah.
So I think he's like, no, you were ready to like run me through the mud. Like you
Right.
can't just walk away now.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So
It's
that's all I know
principle
right
now.
now. I don't know
Mhm.
if like he is. I
I'm
don't
gonna
know
have
where
to
it
get
is. But,
updated on it.
It's pretty interesting.
so now it just kind of
Mhm.
it just kind of like makes you think of him in a different light a little bit. But I do feel like out of the two, Ryan Reynolds is probably the better half.
Yeah, I
You
have
know.
nothing nice to say about Blake Lively. So
Yeah, not anymore. I never
I
was a
didn't to
huge
begin
fan
with.
to begin with, but I did
No.
like her in
Gossip Girl.
Yeah.
well, yeah, but
Yeah.
she was
That's
herself
so
in
long
Gossip
ago.
Girl.
Yeah, that was so long
She's
ago.
so pretentious.
Yeah, that's when the fame didn't get to her yet.
I feel like she
In
was
Gossip Girl?
herself in Gossip Girl, like very like pretentious, but trying to like be cool and chill.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
what I
maybe.
picked up from her. She's just a very
Yeah.
superficial person.
Although, too, Ryan Reynolds broke up with Scarlett Johansson,
I know.
and that's very weird behavior to me. Have you seen Scarlett Johansson?
Yeah,
Like,
but maybe she's a total bitch. We don't know.
That's true.
We
You
have
never
yet
really
to
know
hear anything come out
about
yet now.
anybody.
I mean,
Scarlett
hot
is
people
so
are only
cool.
hot for so long. You have
But
to sit in a room with them.
Scarlett's
Like,
like-
what if they're stupid?
Scarlett's
you
like
know?
hot, but like
saying.
you don't see her in the news like trying to be hot. Only when a movie
I mean,
comes out.
she's gorgeous. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
you know, in
No, I get what
relationships,
you mean.
there's other things.
It's only probably at any time that like it comes out like Scarlett Johansson, blah blah blah. I know, I'm like,
Right.
dang. But as of now, I'm like, I feel like she'd be cool peeps. I feel like we would have a good conversation. I'm
Yeah,
like, okay,
yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that
So
gonna be
Avengers.
our interview goal?
one of them.
Get Scarlett Johansson on
think
board.
so.
I mean, that'd be cool.
That would be fun.
Yeah,
Well, are you guys ready to talk about Ruby Franke today?
sure. Why not?
Let's do
Yeah?
it.
Okay. Well, for those of you who haven't listened to us before, welcome to Grim Reviews. My name is Bex,
My name is Cherish.
I'm Lizzie.
and we are. I don't know.
What?
That's the way you said it.
You like my stripper?
I'm
Lizzie.
leaning.
I'm Lizzie.
You said
Sound like that
so
one
seriously.
girl in House Bunny.
Anyways, we are a true crime podcast where we review all things grim and gruesome. And today we are covering the documentary from Hulu. I believe the full title is Devil in the Family, The Fall of Rube Franke.
That sounds right. You could have totally scrambled that up, but I support it.
Yeah, but
I
we'll just
think
go by
that's right.
Rube Franke. I've watched a few documentaries and articles and all that about her, but that's basically what we're covering today. I can read the description really quick, just if you guys don't know who Rube Franke is. Oh, we should probably give a spoiler alert.
Oh,
if you haven't watched it, we're spoiling it. So, maybe
by the
watch
way,
it first and come
Don't
back.
get mad at us.
But we'll tell you enough.
Yeah.
You'll
if
know
you
what's
come on this
happening.
podcast, we're spoiling pretty much all of it for you. So, just know that we're never going to be like, oh, we don't know.
Right.
And we've obviously known. We're talking
Trigger
about it.
warning as well for child abuse. There's extreme
A lot
child
of it.
abuse if
Very
you're not
much
aware of the
so.
case. Yeah.
However, we do have a darker sense of humor. So that's just one of the ways that we cope with hearing very traumatic events sometimes, or just trying to kind of understand and work through some of our thoughts and opinions on the matter. Please do not think that we are insensitive. That's just one of our ways of kind of talking about it and discussing that within our friends.
Yeah,
So.
and we don't make fun of the victims
No,
or
we
anything. Just mostly the perpetrators and how dumb they can be at times.
It's so true. And it's like, how do they get away with the things that they do for so long?
And sometimes we get heated. I'm very passionate about it and serious
true.
too. So there's a lot of emotions on this podcast, but we try to keep it to a good balance.
We might cry today. I don't know.
Yeah, you never really
Can't
know.
promise.
She's also pregnant, so that definitely
that's true.
Yeah,
puts a spin
that's
on
true.
things.
I'm gonna eat for sure. That's already happened.
Whole loaf of bread.
Yeah, I got another half.
Food
if
is
y'all want
always
some.
You might have
welcome
to
on
share
this
later.
podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Food and
I've
beverages.
got Honey Nut Cheerios. We can
You are
we can figure out a meal here. if you want.
transforming into a literal mom.
Yeah. The snack mom.
You don't even think about it. It's just like a
funny.
natural thing to do now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so the description, we'll just read it through really quick. It's the Hulu description. So when popular vlogger Rube Franke is arrested for child abuse in August 2023, it quickly becomes one of the biggest trending stories in America. For years, the Franke's YouTube channel had documented a wholesome, happy family life with nearly 3 million subscribers tuning in at its peak. But happy families are rarely what they seem. So true. As the cracks begin to show, the family turns to Jody Hildebrandt for guidance and rapidly found themselves trapped in a nightmare. It's pretty good.
It's true.
Yeah.
very true.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 3 episodes in this Hulu series. And the first one, it takes place in Springville, Utah, which is a very happy-go-lucky, people call it heavenly
Right.
neighborhood in Salt Lake City. Very,
Have y'all been there?
I haven't been to Springville.
I've been to Salt Lake City.
She has been to Utah.
Shout out to my people. I've been there a handful of times. You can count it on at least one hand, which is one time. I feel like it is a gorgeous place to visit. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah. I think if you're someone that definitely appreciates the outdoors and stuff like that, just seeing the mountains and everything, it's really, really gorgeous. I will say though that it does give very much picture perfect kind of the houses are really nice looking on the outside, when you're, I would say cookie cutter, but it's in that realm.
Okay.
Because when you think of cookie cutter, you think of literally the suburbs where every house is the exact same.
Well,
True.
it's always every third house. It's so weird.
Right, which it did.
It's a pattern.
It
Yeah.
didn't give every house looked the same, but every house had a certain standard.
Right.
Of manicured lawn, really nice looking house outside. Everybody's
got
taking
an
care
HOA.
of their house and whatever.
Yeah.
So I just overall I would visit Utah again. Specifically Salt Lake City. I think my brother was telling me that on the other side there's Olympia or where the Olympics were at one point in time, something like that. Which is another area of Utah that's really, really nice, but that's
interesting.
not an area I visited. So
I thought that was in Washington, but I'm geographically
no,
challenged.
you're right. There's
Same.
a place in Washington, I think that's called Olympia, but he was
Okay.
saying that sorry, I don't want to get people confused. It was a place on the
In
other side of the
Utah.
mountain in Utah that was something dedicated
cool.
to the Olympics or something like that. I don't know what it's called. Correct me if I'm wrong, but my brother was telling me about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's cool. I have to ask my friend. She lives out there, so she probably know more about it. But I used to be
Mormon.
It's Jack Mormon, ex-Mormon. Jack Mormon turned ex-Mormon.
The hell is Jack Mormon?
It's like
like her name's Jack and
no.
she's Mormon.
So Jack Mormon is when like you grew up Mormon or like that's the religion you label yourself as, but you don't actually follow Mormon practices like drinking coffee.
So like you're inactive?
Kind of.
But you're still like within the Mormon community of the people and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Unsubscribed. That's good. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. But
so she's probably not like outwardly like against the Mormon religion.
Well, she's full on out against the Mormon religion now. When I met her, she was Jack Mormon. So she's Jack Mormon turned.
Well, I wouldn't say like Jack Christian.
That's so weird.
I mean,
yeah. It's like I grew
up.
That's
a thing.
Yeah, is it?
Is it?
You're
just making up terminology at this point. Your friend was just like, fetch, Jack.
I swear it's a thing. Look it up. Look it up. It's a thing.
I probably is a thing. But I've never heard of Jack Christian.
No, I haven't either, but it should be a thing.
Okay.
We could make it a thing.
We could.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But
I mean, I'm not going to start like this leading
Or
cause,
you could just say, I don't know, non-Christian. Just
not Christian anymore.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, anyways, back to Springville. The neighborhood nicknamed it Happy Valley.
Yeah.
So this is where the Franke family moved into as they were becoming more famous and well-known, specifically through YouTube for their channel known as 8 Passengers. Because they have 6 kids, and then it's Ruby and Kevin.
That's a lot of kids.
So many
That's kids. A lot of pregnancies, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be a hell no for me.
At least it's not like the Duggars.
Oh my God. That woman lived pregnant, you know? Like, you think about it. It was just like no cocktail, one right after the other, you know?
It's almost like, you know how people are like, oh, I don't know what it's like to be pregnant because, you know, they've lived a long life of not being pregnant. But in her case, she's like, I don't know what it's like to
not be pregnant. Oh, God.
Oh, goodness.
I can't imagine.
Can you imagine?
Either. Honestly, though, like, props to her. Pour one out for Jill. Isn't that her name?
Because she's not drinking, so...
She probably is now. Well, I don't know. Actually, I don't know,
girl. I have a lot to say about the Duggars, but that's a whole other episode. There's a documentary out there called Happy Shiny Family on Amazon, and there's a lot of things that are a little twisted. When it comes to that
all
family.
I'm saying is I don't think she regrets having all of her kids.
You don't know.
I think
that.
some of her kids regret her having all of her kids.
I think that maybe, but
that's
like
true.
You have to be. I don't know. Okay, never mind. We're not talking about them.
Their daughter's book's really good. Anyway.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
But I came from a family of 6, so I get asked all the time if I'm Mormon. I don't know. I guess 6 is the magic number.
No, you didn't come from a family of 6. You came from a family of like 8.
5 siblings. It was a total of 8. So we also could have been the 8 passengers. We could have started a YouTube channel. Mom, why didn't you?
I came from a family of 7.
This podcast would be so much more popular if I had come from a YouTube family.
Yeah. True.
I mean, any of us
missed out. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
If one of us was famous, this would be more popular.
I mean, technically, I do come from being a camp. Oh wait, I do already. I'm famous.
You
what?
What?
Just kidding.
You're famous?
Well, technically.
Why do we not know this?
Well, no, I'm not famous. Go ahead.
You can't just say that.
Right?
No, because like half of my family is like from Scotland.
Oh,
and,
okay,
like,
that's right. You talked about
we've got some like.
Wait, this makes you famous?
Well, because like back then it's like you could like own land back there and then like certain stuff or whatever. It doesn't make me famous.
Oh,
now.
they have a crest and whatever over there.
Crest, yeah,
okay, so you had a title back there.
So back then, maybe back in the day, probably.
Let's say
they owned a castle.
My great grandmother made the drapes for the president.
Oh,
you know, but yeah, doesn't mean I mean jack shit.
I mean, no, it doesn't.
That's cool though. That's a cool story to tell.
Around.
Yeah,
I can drape you.
Choose a seamstress
or something. What? I don't know.
We
got off topic so fast. I don't even know what we were talking about.
I don't know, the drapes in Happy Valley.
Oh, okay. Okay, Happy Valley.
Yeah,
Can
so
y'all tell it's a Monday?
A very morbid community, very centered around looking picture perfect.
Right.
And the Franke family kind of fit into that culture.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see. I'm sorry. I got so thrown off.
I don't think that was my fault.
No, we all went there.
Okay.
You know, Scottish castles to drapes. It's fine. So moving into Springville, Ruby had these goals of looking like the perfect mom to everyone, which is why she started the YouTube channel.
Right.
And at first, like, the videos are pretty innocent, happy-go-lucky family. She just showed their day-to-day activities and what the relationship looked like and with all of her children and her husband.
It was honestly pretty boring. It seemed like it was just, you know, a family living their lives. But
right. But some people love watching that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's like the curiosity of it all.
And I think this was too back then when there was less of that content out there.
Yeah. Momfluencer was just becoming a thing.
Right. So maybe it was
that was the best
popular
time for you to capitalize on YouTube.
It's when it was starting.
It's when it was starting. It wasn't like the popular thing to do. You were just doing you. Because I would even say that, like, she wasn't really doing it to, like, for monetary reasons or, like, anything. Like, I think she was just genuinely doing it because she thought she had something special to share.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's just, like, later on,
I feel like she wanted to do it to get famous. Because I feel like she's a narcissist at the end of the day.
Back then, when you started doing YouTube, like, they did not even know themselves how to, like, monopolize and be famous on YouTube. They were literally, a lot of them were just doing it.
You can...
I promise you, if you look back on it, a lot of them were like, it wasn't until like they reached like 100K that they were like, whoa, wait, hold on.
And
like,
I'm sure she didn't think right away that they would get famous. So yeah, maybe you're right. She just enjoyed it.
She did want to be seen though, like whether she was famous or not though, she did want to be seen in the eyes of people as the perfect mom.
Right.
And Kevin at first was uncomfortable with all of the filming.
Right.
Just because she always had the camera on the moment he walked in through the door after work, when they were having dinner, when they were all hanging out in the living room. And you can tell in some of the initial videos, like, how awkward he is.
He seems like an awkward fella.
Yeah.
Period.
He does. Yeah. He seems like a nerd.
He gives golden retriever energy. Cherish likes him.
He gives golden... See, I didn't... See, you're the one that said compliments about him now.
Well, I don't
think he's giving golden retriever energy. You think it's
in the beginning?
It's happy-go-lucky, like chill. Like there's nothing wrong with it. In the
beginning, guess happy-go-lucky. I think happy-go-lucky, like golden retriever, is like happy-go-lucky, but it's like energetic.
Yeah, that's
and I
true.
feel like
he's
he
more
was
like a shy nerd.
Yeah, he was more like a cat.
A cat?
An asshole?
Yeah. Well, no.
I love cats, just to be fair. But they could be assholes.
Because he was quiet. Like, yes, he was like... He seemed nice and everything, but I just thought he was more like passive. I think you said that about him at one point too.
Passive with like maybe in front of the camera and stuff. I think his personality is more social and outgoing than even Rube Franke actually behind the scenes.
That's a good point.
Maybe
not everyone likes the camera right in their face.
And you wonder how his personality would have also continued to blossom if he would have married someone else. You know what I mean?
Like you?
No. See, you're pushing it too far. I had said it at one point that I thought he
did have a
good
glow
looking, and I think he had a glow up through age. I do. Like, I don't think he was as good looking when he was like a young adult to how he is like now.
When he hid his face with facial hair, it was much better.
That's where it changed. And I think he has like good eyes. Like, they're kind of mysterious eyes
nice
a little
eyes.
bit.
I will give
so
him
like
that.
if like erase all of this background history, and if like he came up at the bar and was like trying to buy me a drink, I'd be like, I'm sorry, I don't really drink alcohol. And he'd be like, would you want some ginger ale? And I'd be like, okay. But that's besides the point. I know this story, so obviously no.
No.
We can only hope.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Next time we go to a bar, I'm be like, you want some ginger ale?
Yeah. Use that line.
Works every time.
Why do you think I got like just numbers for days in my phone?
Yeah.
Continue.
You're saying you use that on people?
I don't have to use it.
Okay.
That's actually just like a genuine conversation.
That's great. Well, so
it's so funny.
Oh, you guys are such a hater.
Anyway. Anyway.
Okay.
Okay, the guy you said he was a golden retriever. She was filming it.
Yeah, so he was uncomfortable filming, but he could tell that Ruby really wanted to do this. And so he was trying to live up to her expectations.
Support her.
At the time.
Yeah.
And he finally was okay with it when they received their first check from YouTube, which was only $85. But at that point, he was like, hey, this actually has potential for profit. So that's when they started filming a lot more, taking it a lot more seriously.
Right.
And they started filming all the time. Their content really changed. Like they just kind of adapted with what the viewers were more interested in watching, which was particularly
the kids.
What are their names again? Chad and Sherry.
Sherry.
Yeah, they were the big kid personalities on the channel. And they started making, I think their peak number was $120,000 a month in 1 month. So they were making bank.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. That's not. Did they say that was including sponsorships and stuff, or was that just out? I think that was YouTube alone.
I think it was YouTube alone.
I think it was YouTube alone.
Right.
Wow.
It would be really interesting to kind of see the breakdown.
It would.
What they were making and where
especially
that was all
back
coming
then
from.
too, because it's just like $120,000 now per month is like crazy.
Yeah.
But just imagine like cost of living back then too.
Right.
Like that's even more just like such a shell shock.
Right.
Of like what you can like pump out for an income with any new job you start for most part.
Right.
So
yeah.
That's kind
you
of
would feel like you hit the lottery.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I think they did. I mean, they went on a trip to Hawaii and they were filming that, and they were in this phase of gratitude, just being really thankful for making it as far as they did. And then at one point, YouTube put Rube Franke as the face of, I think it was Mother's Day.
Yeah.
They put her on the cover of their website, and she was
regret that.
the American mom. Yep, but it was her dream. Like she reached it.
Yeah, it was like the peak of their career, but also as a family too, because like right at that point, it seemed like the kids were very much like excited to be doing the videos and be a part of it. I think at one point, like Chad knew that he was one of the key factors of why people were commenting and like engaging with the videos because he was a little stud muffin for a kid or whatever. Like I think they were saying that like people would be like, oh, is he single? Like da 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 da. You know what I mean?
Like younger girls
and stuff like that.
They were hitting on him, and Sherry was quite popular too. And she remembers being excited about her very first video and her introduction
video.
And, I mean, that's an exciting time for kids.
It is.
Yeah.
I would imagine, to be honest with you, like putting myself in their shoes, I probably would have been like very similar. Like super excited to do the video. Like
I would have hated it.
I love YouTube, but that's just me. But I just love the concept of like you can be super creative, you can make the video whatever you want it to be, you can put it up there, and then on top of it make money off of it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's true. The money part would have been nice.
That's like, what would have turned Lizzie.
Well, so think of it though. Especially
I was a really shy kid. I would have hated it.
Yeah, I get that. But whatever you like to do, even as a kid, you're just like videoing yourself doing it and putting it on there.
And I mean, like shy or not, like you might get used to it if it's done all the time. So I can't really say.
It's funny because like not to derail this conversation, but typically YouTubers are people that tend to be shyer and introverted. I wouldn't say are more successful on YouTube, but they end up saying that YouTube is very comfortable for them. Because they're able to be themselves and be in a comfortable environment doing the thing that they love without any like
there's
in
no
the
reaction.
Face, yeah. So they're like, it was so easy for me, and it's like crazy because they would say that like people when they would meet them finally in real life would think that they're like this extroverted person,
and they're not at all.
They're not at all. And they're like, heck no, I would never be in a crowd of people. I love staying in my room. That's and like da 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 da. So you never know. I mean. I get it. Like, your feelings are valid with that, though. Cause
yeah, I don't know. And, if you lived around it all the time, maybe you would feel differently.
Especially if you didn't have a choice when you were a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And you wish that they could have stayed in this happy space. Like, just reach this goal and then just, stayed there. But unfortunately, like, as the kids got older, they started to become a little more resentful of the roles they were playing. And also because they were taking the filming for YouTube so much more seriously because now it was
like
a job. It's not fun anymore.
It was very strict.
Right. And so it was really starting to restrict Chad and Sherry's free time and their schedules kind of revolved around what needed to go on YouTube. And Sherry even mentioned like the lights in the house, like the light bulbs were changed from a warm YouTube to aesthetic,
like a white bright. Right.
Yeah. Right. So they were starting to get frustrated with that, particularly Chad, who started getting in his rebellious teenage phase, and he started lashing out, like trying to piss his mom off. And even in the documentary, he's like, I don't know why I did that. I just didn't like being told what to do. Yeah. And valid. I mean, every teenager at that point.
What teenager doesn't feel that way?
Yeah.
I felt really bad for Chad in that moment, because I think that, like, one, every teenager kind of goes through those feelings. And then two, it was kind of like, I just really, at least from the videos and everything, I still to this day am like, he didn't do anything wrong.
It was nothing abnormal.
And it just kind of was like, even when like you do say to yourself, like, okay, I want to be a YouTuber, this is what I want to do, this is like the schedule I want to be on, and like, you have to put mental breaks in, you have to put self-care in. So the fact that like he and Sherry and the husband would kind of like, in the best way they could, I think, try to be like, listen, I just need my space. I need
Give
to
me a minute.
Yeah, like I don't know if she had like off days for them.
I'm not sure. Like, they didn't really clarify.
And you think about it, it's not like a film crew. It's not like a TV show. Like, they're not on TLC. You know, she might be shoving the camera in their face all day,
whenever
every day,
which she was already doing originally.
Right. So that sucks, because it's just like, even with a ordinary job, you know, like for me and like you guys, we have off schedules. We know when we're gonna have to go to work. We know when we get off of work. We know we can do all these things, especially us as adults. We can put in time to take time off. But like the kids, they don't have that say whatsoever. It's just like whenever it's go time and for us to film, then we have to do it because mom says so.
Yeah, it's whatever Ruby says. It's based on Ruby's schedule and what she wants to do. And as the kids wanted more privacy and independence, it just became more difficult, and they started to push back. And at this point, like we were saying, this wasn't abnormal behavior for a child, particularly at Chad's age. But I think because they weren't getting the attitude that they were wanting on camera, they were like, oh shit, we need to get this under control. Yeah. So I think they overreacted because they depended on his personality for the channel. I mean, even Kevin admits to exploiting Chad for YouTube.
Yeah. I think it's kind of hard because at one end you have like the child saying like, oh yeah, I love this, I love the attention. But then also at the same time, it could be the next day where he's like, no, mom, like, I don't want to do this. But then you as a parent are like, wait, I thought you loved this. Yeah. But still being like, okay, if he says no and he doesn't want to do it, then you kind of have to be like, oh, okay.
Well, she's like, you making me money.
Right, yeah. Like, remember when they're in the van, and I guess they were like driving somewhere, and she was like, do you want to get paid? Like, do you want to blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, dang, like, it's not their responsibility. Like, no. Like, you're the parents. You figure out how to get money.
Right. Like, at that point, you have to get creative.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Find a new avenue. I don't know.
Yeah, I was just like, dang, like, what they got to be the ones
to eat?
Pretty much.
Honestly, though. I mean, that's kind of what it eventually evolved into. And her discipline with Chad was getting stricter and stricter. And I think you kind of start to notice a little more tension in the films before you even see the behind-the-scene clips in the documentary. Right. But at this point, she's looking for a therapist or someone to work with her son to get his attitude in check. So she talks to her friend Paige within the Mormon community.
With the Corman. No, I can't get there.
Okay. Anyway, her friend Paige connected Ruby with the Mormon therapist Jody Hildebrandt. And Jody Hildebrandt, she had quite an influential stance within the Mormon community. I almost said Corman again. I felt
sketchy.
Yeah. But she was just like a counselor for couples or individuals, and she was pretty well known. Yeah. So at this point, they get Chad in touch with Jody, and Jody
becomes like his therapist, right?
Yeah, she does. So they start doing like I don't know if it's in person or online or both, but they start talking pretty regularly. And under Jody's guidance, Chad's belongings were removed. He wasn't allowed to own anything, no electronics, no
And the reason why they started is because he was acting up at school and he got expelled and stuff.
Oh, he did. I did forget to mention that. He got expelled and that was like, okay, that's it.
Right. Yeah.
You're not only rebelling against the channel, but now you're acting out with other adults.
And that makes
us
look bad.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very so true.
Very good point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, at this point, they take all of his belongings and they actually take him to wilderness therapy, which it was the Anasazi Foundation Wilderness Therapy, which I kind of looked into because I was intrigued. There's a lot of positive reviews, actually, from past clients. So it does sound like overall that was probably the best experience he's had from this whole case. But it's expensive. I mean, wilderness therapy went up to, I think it was about $80,000.
Jesus.
Woo. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
But this is where things start to go downhill. When he gets back from wilderness therapy, at this point, he seems to be trying to behave more. And Ruby is still struggling with his behavior. They're not very clear about
when they
why.
Talk about his sleeping situation?
No, so that comes up next, but at first they were like, oh, if you don't get into shape, we're gonna take you to military school.
Which I mean, at least for me watching it, it doesn't really give you enough detail of why
behavior.
they're honing down so hard.
Yeah, that's
even when he's coming back from like the wilderness program, like the camp or like settling into the family, and he's like telling his side of like, okay, like I'm really trying and I really want to do better and stuff like that. Yeah. But they're not giving that too many other instances of like, oh, well, when you got back to wilderness camp, you tried to run away, or you was breaking curfew, or you were doing all these things.
Right.
Like there wasn't really that filler. Yeah. So for me, it kind of gave me like, oh, you just really want him to just like be.
He just wants control
like
over
a puppeteer
they
and just like control him.
Yeah. Break his spirit, essentially.
Well, when she says jump, you jump. Like that's exactly the behavior she's looking to see from him.
Right.
So even if like she's turning on the camera and she's not seeing that like genuine smile, like, I'm going to find that genuine smile and you better give it to me. Like, I don't even want it to be fake anymore.
And at this point, he's getting older. She's losing control. She's losing, like her big draw.
That's true.
To the channel.
Well, there was even a clip, and I'd love to post it here. But when she was saying, like, I want you to be happy, or you have to be happy.
Yeah, even if
happy.
you fake it. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like trying, and he wants to, but
it's kind of
you can't make yourself be happy. Yeah. You just can't do that.
And the thing that like throws me too is like there was a part when like he first started getting therapy from Jody, and he said that he tried to kind of fake it in the beginning with her in the very first like the thing or whatever, and she was just like, stop lying, like I can see you through you, or cut the crap,
and it threw him off.
It's kind of to me like a mind twist, because one minute his mom's like, fake it, like I don't care, but then clearly it's like you do care. So it's just like that brings the whole thing of like, you don't want him to just give you the behavior you're looking for. You want the real deal. So it goes back to your saying like you want them to break him. So
she
he
wants
can
an
like
authentic reaction, but she wants the reaction she wants.
Right.
A real one.
That's
of like,
problem.
oh wow, our mom is amazing and I'm so happy to be here, genuinely, truly to my heart. That's what she wants.
But instead of working on herself to get
to
that
deserve
result,
that,
it's gonna be breaking the kids in order for them to be compliant.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is when things go downhill. He did try to really be on his best behavior after they threatened military school, but at this point, this is when that video goes out on YouTube about them. She was talking with Chad about giving him back his bed because he's earned back that right. And then he mentions on YouTube, I've been sleeping on a beanbag
for 7 months.
And she was like, oh, I don't think our viewers actually knew that. And then they kind of laughed about it and he repeated himself.
Yeah.
And this is when the reputation of the channel
they turned on him,
really go downhill, like so much. They got so much negative feedback, like you're a terrible parent, this
flags,
is abuse,
that's a problem.
A bunch of podcasts were talking about it, and they started to essentially get canceled online. And the harsh parenting that was seen, I think she thought she could get away with it. Like, because she just had such positive feedback for so long. It's like, okay, we can be honest with our viewers.
Right.
It's fine.
Yeah.
And then she realized, oh, shoot, we went too far.
Well, she started sharing one thing, and then that was safe, and then another thing. And she's like, okay. She's just kind of testing the waters. And at this point, everyone was like, nope, too far.
And I love, because Kevin, he almost sounds defensive at this point during the documentary, because he said, yeah, we were just a good Christian family, and we were just battling cancel culture. And so we were just trying to, Ruby didn't want to apologize. And we were just trying to, be ourselves and, live by our faith. And the interviewer was like, well, looking back, don't you think that they had a point? And Kevin's like, sure.
I feel like
okay, Kev.
I feel like he was so oblivious, though. Like, I feel like he knew what was happening, but I just kind of feel like he was just not tapped in.
I think.
I think he thought it was okay, and I think he wasn't tapped in. You know what I mean? Like,
I think she convinced him that was normal behavior.
I think, yeah, exactly. I think that, like, in his world and how she made it, I think it wasn't anything out of the box, and so when he was even just like explaining his point of view and the situation,
I think he's still a little delulu about what's right.
That's what I think. I think that there's a part of him that is still indoctrinated with that belief that that was okay behavior, and the lashback that they received wasn't fair.
I think to a certain point he was all for it until like when it got like real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and we'll talk about that later, but I think for a long time he was just kind of like, what she wants goes. And I do think that like the lore between the two of them speaks volumes, especially with like how he went about like attaining her as a wife and stuff.
We didn't even get into that.
We didn't. So I just kind of think that like there was like what he like believed in like the Mormon religion and all that, but then also too just like him kind of like
trying to live up to her expectations.
Yeah. I don't know how it got that way from it. Honestly, it would be so interesting to like, I don't know, just get more of an understanding of like, what was it about her that was like so appealing to you?
Right.
I think it was on Kevin's part largely a lack of self-esteem, because if you're always trying to live up to someone's expectations, that means you feel like you're not enough. And so you're constantly having to prove that you are.
Yeah, I feel like she's good at making people feel less than.
Yes.
She must have been the bee's knees back then, because the way she was like, I had 5 guys courting me or like pursuing me, and then like he was just like, I'm like,
so Kevin overshares at this point in the film that when they met, she had 5 other admirers and he was on the list, and he found this chart, like this whiteboard chart in her closet. And it was like, all these check marks for Mr.
all the qualities that she's looking for in a husband.
Yes, and then she had them, like the names colored of all of her admirers colored in. And so he studied that chart so he could win her in a sense.
Like the man of her dreams.
Which is, one, on his part, that's a little bit weird, because you're not being yourself. Because if he had just been himself, he might not have even gotten picked.
Right, but that should have been enough with her, if it was meant to happen, right?
Yeah, but then in 2, he should have also picked up that she was kind of controlling and a little bit weird for having that chart. The way that she had it. I'm just saying, like, you can have a list, but girl, you out in your closet, would you lighting candles too and coloring in the boxes? It's just a little weird. Like, I don't know, maybe she was just like, I just got so many suitors, I have to keep everything organized.
It seems very like what is her name? Monica from Friends.
Oh my god.
OCD.
Yes. That's
Let's not downplay Monica like that, but yeah.
It's true.
Well, I mean,
I get what you mean though.
It's just like the OCD behavior of it all, trying to control the situation.
Yeah. If I was her friend, I would have been like, girl, you need to chill. Like,
that's a lot.
Yeah. And also too, like, if you need to make a chart with 5 guys and like you don't know what to do, then also too, maybe you just need to look elsewhere. Maybe they're not.
Who the hell has 5 guys? Like, perspective 5. That's too many. I mean, one of them's gonna piss you off shortly.
That is true,
like, just give it a second.
That is so true.
Right.
You know, I don't know how people these days like have rosters of people in their phone of like, like this and that and the other. Like, I could barely handle 2. I'm
good with 1.
I'm seriously.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, like, outside of 1, 2 is a handful.
Right.
Like,
It just sounds like a lot of emotional effort.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the kicker.
Yeah.
But also Ruby doesn't seem to give a lot of emotional effort. So I don't know.
That's true.
She had these men crawling for her.
She seemed very much like the "you come to me" type.
Yeah.
Very much. Which,
you work
like,
for it. I'll be here.
Right.
Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, but it does make me wonder, like,
If Scarlett Johansson acted this way,
if Scarlett Johansson act that way, I would be like, all right, we get it.
now we know why you were left.
Right, we understand.
I'm so sorry. She's probably nothing like that.
I will say this, like, if there was a documentary on me, I don't expect people to be like, oh yeah, cheers, yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. I get it.
Can we make a documentary about you? And then you and me, we could be like, Cherish, she's just such a light.
That means she dies. Whenever people go, she's just a beaming light. She's a she's a pillar of her community. You know how they always say that.
No,
and she's the one that died.
Yeah, they're like, you guys are like upping me in the documentary, then they show my picture, and then all the viewers are like, oh.
No, but you come in last minute of the film, and you're like, hi guys, hi. I think we should do that sometime.
Like SpongeBob SquarePants with a lollipop. Hi. And they're like, that's not what I was expecting. Don't get too
She's
twisted.
a beacon.
I got some
We're
what is
call
it called?
The light of Cherish.
I got some catfish
of
photos. If something ever happens to me, you know, I got my photos ready.
You gotta start a
photos.
shared album.
The catfish photos where it's just like wow, that girl looks good.
Whatever.
But it's like if I was wilding out doing some crazy stuff, and then they saw a photo of me, especially right now, everybody would be like, "Who in the world do you think you are?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I know."
Girls have 2 looks. We're either all dolled up or homeless.
Yeah, it's so true though.
The way it goes.
True.
Yeah,
it's
we're either comfortable or we're not.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm definitely comfortable today.
I'm very much comfortable.
Shirt.
If I didn't have my bra on, I'd be more comfy. But you know,
I
don't have a bra on.
Yeah, being pregnant at all.
Yeah.
It's funny how like your
the
natural
girls up.
habitat is of a homeless person, but it is what it is.
Me too.
It makes it feel like there's less responsibilities. It's carefree, no judgment zone. You feel
because
safe.
then if I'm not trying at all, then it's just meh. You know,
Yeah.
like I don't have to feel bad about the way I look because I didn't try.
For sure.
So don't judge me.
I get that. As far as Rube Franke, I'm just kind of like she really gassed herself up.
Yeah.
And her husband didn't really help.
No.
He kept gassing her up.
He was enabling.
He was.
And if I had to say,
grandeur
today, if you had to compare the two, he's the better looking one.
I would have to agree with that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I would have
do.
I don't think Ruby's pretty.
Interesting.
I do. She looks like she's like
I think she's pretty.
Her occupation would be one of those tree planters out in the mountains, like putting down seeds.
So random. I was gonna say she looks like a Karen, but okay.
She's not my type, but I do think they're both attractive. I think they're both crazy, and I wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole.
And once again, if you pulled either one of them, you'd be the better looking person.
If I what?
If you pulled either or, you would be the better looking person in the relationship.
Oh, well, thank you.
It's
Yeah.
true.
It's true.
It's true. It's true. I'm like, where'd you get this tree planting woman from?
I don't know. I just feel like you
Tree
take
planter.
one look at Rube Franke's face and you know that she's a bitch. Like she just has RBF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, and her friends in the documentary. I'm like,
Yeah.
why were you acting crazy and your friends are gorgeous? Well, not even her friends.
She doesn't have many. She had one friend.
Yeah,
just
she
like
had
the
one
one.
friend, and it was
Jody.
Paige.
Oh.
And then Jody.
That's her lover. That's not her. That ain't her friend.
Well,
that's friends with
whatever.
benefits.
We'll get to that.
Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, though. I'm not knocking. If, you know, just saying. I'm not the
People are
beholder.
just uglier when they're mean.
That
So
too.
true.
That
Is
is
to
so
it.
true.
Yeah.
That is so true. If
You're
she
not
was
pretty on
like
the inside.
Joan of Arc,
Yeah.
Gandhi, whatever vibes, I'd be like, oh wow,
Gandhi.
she's amazing.
I don't know. She has some people just have RBF, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She looks like Nigel Thornberry's sister.
I don't know who that
I
is.
don't either.
Oh my gosh.
We gotta post a picture.
Yes, please. James,
So we all know.
Nigel Thornberry.
So we all know
I have
who
no
that
idea who
person
that
is.
I'm
You
gonna
don't
Google
know?
that.
Is it bad that we don't know?
Gosh, yeah,
Oh.
that's an all-time
We're both
big
homeschooled.
Watch it,
Nickelodeon.
yeah.
Well, I
But
mean,
watch
we're
me like
allowed to.
Google it, and
Nickelodeon.
they were on like one show
I didn't watch
before we were born.
Nickelodeon. That was not
Oh,
allowed.
Wild Thornberries?
I probably I guarantee you I probably wasn't allowed to watch it. Mm-hmm. I guarantee this before I even look it up. But second off, we didn't have cable growing up, so I couldn't watch it unless I went to my nanny's house.
Okay, fair enough.
And by nanny, I mean grandma. We just called her nanny, and everyone's like, "You have a nanny?" No.
Okay, comment below if you've watched Nigel Thornberry and if you agree. I'm sorry, the Wild Thornberries.
I wasn't allowed to watch. Oh shit. There's so many.
Because you weren't allowed to watch it.
Anything with witchcraft, yeah, exactly. But there was one Nickelodeon, Rugrats. No. You probably weren't allowed to watch it either.
No.
Yes, they had.
Well, if you guys can watch Nickelodeon, then you can. That's like your whole childhood right there.
VeggieTales and Bible Man.
Oh,
I hate VeggieTales. I will never. I didn't care for
VeggieTales either.
Ever again in my entire. I watch every fucking. Okay. Anyway.
I still get songs stuck in my head. But back to Rube Franke's.
I could sing the entire startup right now.
Cheeseburger song?
Yes!
That's the only song I do like.
Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger for me and you.
I sung that to Chancellor and he's like, it's a fucking veggie.
What a hater.
You don't get it.
Yeah. That's the only song I liked out of VeggieTales, but I get you on that one.
It's trauma.
Like it. Okay, back to Rube Franke.
Yeah, back to Rube Franke's RBF. It started to really show after she got all that backlash on the channel because she started she didn't want to apologize. So
she doubled down.
Yeah, she was like, you know what? This is what we're doing, and we're a righteous Christian family, and this is how God wants me to lead our family, and just started doing these really religious, strict videos.
Yeah.
And started diving more into Jody Hildebrandt's community.
Mm-hmm.
And before I get into Jody Hildebrandt's shtick, I want to give a little context into who she was as a person through Brannon, who's talked a lot on the documentary. He was a therapist who worked under her as intern apprentice for about a year. And I think this was back in 2010 when he was working with her. He worked with her for over a year, and he said he just started seeing a lot of red flags. At first, initially, he was wowed because she really has that presence of knowing what is best for everyone, and people just instantly trust her. She seems very grounded because she believes 100% in what she is teaching.
Yeah.
And people buy it. And I think he bought it
It's all about confidence to a degree.
And how you assert yourself. You can sell anything.
Yeah.
She was essentially a good salesman.
Right.
Saleswoman. But so he starts seeing, after working with her for a bit, he just notices there's a lot of hatred towards men in general. And when she was counseling couples, there were a lot of breakups happening because she would speak to the female privately about the man and just kind of bitch about him. And I feel like she encouraged the wife to split up. And so it was happening a lot, and Brannon was noticing this. He also noticed that she would prioritize clients with more money. Hence how she gets so connected with Ruby and the rest of the Franke family, because they already have a reputation, they have money, and so she's going to prioritize that connection and the counseling that they might need. But she would come up to Brannon and be like, oh yeah, you know, they have a lot of money. I want to see what we can do for them. And he was like, that's not okay. That's, yeah. And gosh, what else did it? There were a few others, I think. Do you remember anything else that Brannon said about Ruby?
Not specifically.
Ruby specifically? Or about Jody?
Oh, and she withheld pay. That was the thing. Yeah. Brannon was supposed to receive some type of pay, which I don't know how it works for therapist interns, or I don't know much about that.
But if they had some sort of agreement, then she didn't honor it.
But she didn't follow through.
Right.
I mean, when I used to be a mentor / the executive assistant of a psychological therapist, she paid me.
Okay.
So it's not like it's something where she's like, oh, no one does that. I don't have to pay you.
It makes me wonder, you know.
It makes me think that he probably should. If he had some sort of licensing also. Yeah, because sometimes, like, if he would have went to, he had his bachelor's and he already had, like, some sort of master's or, like, a leveling up of a licensing of some sort, then technically it's, like, good courtesy to pay, even if they're like someone underneath you.
Okay.
And like you said, the fact that he like brought it up or whatever, it's most likely he probably should have been paying him.
Right.
And then also too, like, it would kind of be more so the opposite. It would be more so of the likelihood of her paying him than as far as not to.
Right.
So it's a little bit weird that she's not paying him.
I have to ask, what are you drinking? It looks
a smoothie.
Does it look
thick.
bad? Is it making you nauseous?
That's something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you were talking about baby spiders coming out. And you're like, that's fascinating.
But then
it's
my protein.
So
It's my protein smoothie.
Oh, it's protein.
It's,
okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's like creamy, but it's like blue, purple.
Yeah, because there's berries in it, and then I put like a vanilla protein
blueberries.
powder.
Okay.
So I'm trying
That
to be
sounds
healthy.
really good.
It actually is really
As
good.
long as you're enjoying
And yogurt, Greek yogurt.
it looks thick.
I'm sorry.
The
Don't
fact that
look
she
at it,
slid
Lizzie. Look at the
into
camera.
hate.
I can't not now.
Just think of it like alien guts.
That's much better.
It's
Thank you.
I know your mind.
It's all the spiders
know
that we caught and just blended them up.
You could just say something
that's
normal.
terrible. I missed the mark.
Oh my gosh. I had her at a good mental state.
I'm like, I love bugs. And she's like, yeah, I blended them all up and put them in this cup.
Did you not just hear what the thing I was trying to put in her head and you just ruined
I missed
it?
the mark. I tried and failed. I was like, oh, she likes bugs. I put them in a smoothie.
Y'all see what I got to deal with?
I'm sorry.
I was there for you.
Appreciate it.
I failed. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Anywho, I think overall,
If you get like a blueberry stuck, all I'm gonna see is like a spider leg. I'm sorry.
That's
all I'm gonna think
I know. I'm like looking now.
Seed in my teeth. I hate you both.
So
fine, I
Brandon
deserve that.
essentially was kind of indicating that he wasn't a huge fan of her, and he thought that she was up to something suspicious. However, he thought that he should stick around a little bit to see what goes down. That's what he said. He was like, she's up to something. There's something weird going on, but it's better for me to like be in the hemisphere and then what about then to not, because he felt like something was up.
He definitely was keeping an eye on her, and even after the fact, when he broke off and started his own therapeutic
because he said a lot of her clients went to him.
Yeah, a lot of the damaged clients who had split up. So at this point, I don't know if Brandon is still around at this point or if he had just left, but Jody forms Connections, which is a
cult.
a cult within a cult.
Much.
Yeah,
Yep.
but it was for the purpose of counseling multiple people, because you can make so much more money counseling or giving therapy to 20 people instead of just individuals at different times of the week. Just
I would put
multiple birds
Connections
with one stone.
I would put Connections in her like work between underneath the family and marriage therapy.
I would say so.
Because it's like all about relationships, it's all about marriage, and it's all about the family.
Yeah.
It's also all about man hating.
And the Man Haters Club.
But that's like her like professional cap over it, probably.
Yeah.
But then it's like nothing positive.
No,
it's not
terrible.
helping at all.
Not at
Don't
all.
call
Not her methods, at
But
least.
No.
Ruby, the Franke family, really gets sucked in, and I mean, even the rest of the neighborhood in Springville, Happy Valley or whatever.
Get sucked in.
Yeah, they're all very into what Jody's saying, because she's very much like a Mormon guru, is how I would put it.
Interesting.
Just
title.
very
Which,
influential.
Another note is that during this documentary, they don't really go into depths about how involved they are in the Mormon church or within like the Mormon church community.
No.
They more so just speak on like the connection and Jody and her philosophies and her teachings.
Because I'm sure they don't want to admit how affiliated they were. I wouldn't if I
guess
was
so.
Mormon church.
But I mean, like,
Right.
even in Ruby Franke's like videos, at least the ones that we saw, like, she didn't even speak of going to church or like really invested within the church
It was all about connections.
herself. It was just all about connections. And
Yeah.
so it's really interesting because there's some other Mormon families or whatever out there that they're heavily involved in the church, and any of their like principles and stuff stem from, well, I've learned this because of the elders or because of like the prophets or whatever, but like as you go on to tell us that Jody is
No, she
like,
made her
their
own little kingdom within the kingdom. Yeah.
So I thought that was really interesting. Yeah. I was just like, that's different. Like, She's just doing her own thing.
It was kind of smart, though, if you think about it, because she was really exploiting the religious anxiety that was already there within the Mormon community.
Yeah.
And she just was good at instilling that fear or feeding it or turning it into hate against men, which Kevin, it took him some persuading from Paige and Ruby to get him on board with Connections initially, because he noticed the first session he walked in, and they share a little clip at this point in the documentary, and I swear every session that they share of Jody preaching to the choir it's always lust and selfishness.
Yeah.
And
we know what's on her
every
mind.
single time, right? Which is projecting a little bit, ain't it?
Protest too much.
Right.
Just a little
She's
bit.
like, they're taking all of the women from me. I want them all myself. That's pretty much what it is. I don't know. Like, I think of when I see her, it's like, I know, like, you guys might not like the saying, but it just kind of gives up, like, idle mind makes the devil's workshop. Like, she has nothing better else to do.
No.
Except just, like, ponder of, like,
Right.
how can I just, like, pour more, like, icky stuff into people. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's focusing on the negative for sure.
very much
Exactly. It's just like,
so.
what are you doing? Like, go crochet.
Yeah. Go crochet.
Go calm down.
Yeah, like,
Find a hobby.
down. Like, exactly. Go on a hike, Jody. Like,
Take a hike, Jody.
yeah, do something.
And Ruby, like, calm down.
And
Yeah.
like, obviously,
hike to
I'm
prison.
not one to advocate like due to certain circumstances of my own life or whatever, but like, she definitely gives like she hasn't gotten laid in a while.
Yeah.
Kind
Oh,
of.
yeah.
Well, and she
Kind
kind
of.
of didn't, as far as we know, because she was divorced and had minimal contact with her children.
Yeah.
Yeah, like her relationship, even
There's
if she was
dust
married.
blown out of her vagina.
Oh my! What was that joke at the cruise? What was it again? A
Which
carnival?
one?
No,
Which
the comedian,
one?
the comedian who
Which
was
one?
like she.
Oh yeah.
What?
She
I
said
don't
the
remember
one
compared
lady
her
that was
vagina-
the host, and she was starting to talk about her sex
She was
life.
so uncomfortable.
was so
She compared
uncomfortable.
her vagina
Not
to
in
the
front of the
Wolverine.
baby.
She
Because
did.
it like re-heals, it was all dried out. Then
Not in front of the baby, guys.
oh, sorry.
It was so bad.
We have to think of
No,
our other
that-
mini co-host.
It was so bad.
That
It
was
was
so bad.
I don't even exactly remember what she said.
Dude, that's been like at least a year
I
later
have
now, and I'm
blocked
still
that
getting
off
secondhand. Yeah, I'm still
for
getting
like a whole
embarrassment
year.
from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so essentially we went on a cruise together, and there was like a host that was a part of the cruise, and she thought it would be
She
a good
had-
idea to go on stage and try to crack a few jokes about her own love life, which then turned into cracking jokes about her vagina and how
Let's
it's
just
like so
say-
dry and
like
how
the
she
Sahara
hasn't
Desert.
had anything for a while,
This
and like the
woman
whole
had
crowd
zero
was just like, "What are you
business
doing?"
Trying to say anything
Yeah.
sarcastic, not a
And instead
funny
of the
bone
joke
in her
landing, it was
fucking
just very
body.
awkward and like very much secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah,
It hurt.
Like
hurt.
it still hurts to this day a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, the inside of my thighs were extremely burnt because I laid out on the boat like this, super ladylike, I know, and it got completely burnt,
Yeah.
and that hurt less than that joke. That's all I'm gonna say. It was bad.
You know what? I wonder where she is
good.
now. I wonder if she's doing okay.
Yeah.
I
We
wonder
should
if
check
she
on her.
hopefully
I don't
found
know.
someone to
Maybe-
like help that for her.
Yeah. Instead of starting connections and
Yeah.
I
starting to
hope
hate
someone
men and
took her to the side and said, "No, sweetie,
Yeah.
comedy's not for
not
you.
anymore."
Well, so like because Jody was going through had a divorce and all that type of stuff or whatever, like, you know, it also thinks of the phrase hurt people.
Yep.
And it's just like the fact that like her marriage didn't work out, she may or may not be in a relationship or getting any of her sexual needs met.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like she's looking at all these women who have somebody currently at this point or whatever maybe, and she's just like, you need to drop them. I don't want to be alone.
Oh,
Join me and then come to my room with baby oil.
Hey,
Like, I don't
spoiler
know. Yeah, spoiler alert, but it's just kind of like, it's giving like, girl, who
it's
hurt you?
desperation.
Yeah.
Who hurt you?
Yeah.
Like,
That's true.
I don't want to give you a hug because I don't want you to take that a different way. But she needs
God.
one.
It would be really interesting to get some context on her background because we
Kinda.
didn't get a lot of
I
that.
wonder if she was abused as a child.
Probably.
Probably.
Would we
Probably.
be shocked?
It would
Yeah.
track. It would track.
It would track.
Yeah. Oh, and how I was saying earlier about how she liked to prioritize wealthy clients. This is how she gets so hooked in with Ruby, and how even though Ruby has minimal training in connections or whatever,
she's not a licensed therapist.
No, she's not at all. She ends up becoming Jody's sidekick very quickly, and the Franke family kind of becomes the face of connections.
Sidekick.
Right. She could have at least gotten like a license for like a relationship coach or something.
What'd you say?
I said she could have at least gotten a license for a relationship coach or something.
I don't think she got anything.
That's sad because that's very easy to attain.
Right. And
I kind of low-key
say life coach, and I don't even think you have to be certified.
No, you don't have to be certified. I looked into it, so I technically am a certified coach.
I can just tell you what to do and be like, yeah, I'm your life coach now.
Yeah.
Bitch.
And people can pay for it.
Yeah, I really wanted to say it.
But like I think that like Jody needed, or Ruby needed Jody as much as Jody needed
very much.
You know what I mean? Because like she was losing like faith from her followers or whatever because of like what they're finding out with her family. And so she knew people weren't really buying the whole I'm like the best mom and like we have a happy family over here. So she had to kind of change her image. And Jody obviously was giving her an open door to support her parental ideals. Yeah, Jody was ready for it. She's like, it's been a while. It's been a minute.
I wish there was just dust.
Yeah.
The special effect you can have James add. But so as the Frankies became the face of Connections, they rebranded their whole image, just like you were saying. And I believe she ends up deleting 8 Passengers as a YouTube channel, and just changes anything they do have online is changed to Connections, or it's under the Connection name. And she starts a Facebook group called Moms of Truth.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing people knew right away that she just like rebranded herself.
Yeah, because she sent an invite to all of her Facebook friends.
Yeah.
So that'll do it.
All the neighbors in Springville. I keep wanting to say Spring Valley.
Happy Valley.
All the neighbors in Happy Valley accepted the invite and started watching the content because at the time they were kind of hooked on Jody.
Right.
Yeah. So this all happens. You know, Ruby and Jody are getting close, and everything seems to be going well for the family within Connections. The marriage starts doing better because when they were getting canceled, of course it's everyone hates me, which means my family hates me, which means Kevin hates me, which means our marriage is in danger.
Well, and so Kevin joined Connections because he was convinced to, and then not only is he in Connections, but he's like the spokes guy for all the other men that are part of the group.
Token man.
He's the token, the golden boy.
And because they're both
the only boy.
Because he's now the golden boy and Ruby is starting to get fame again within that community, their marriage is doing better.
Right.
Love how everything just lines up.
Yeah.
When she gets more attention, everything's better.
Exactly.
And Kevin's eating it up because he feels good about stroking his ego because he's like, I'm like
I have a part in this.
I'm the role model. I'm the ideal husband that everyone is supposed to be. So it's true. He even said it in the documentary.
Yeah.
He was like, it made me feel good. Yeah, like I made it. Like I love the way my wife is looking at me. I like she's looking. What do you say? She's looking at me the way I've always wanted her to look at me. And I'm
Just
like, that's so sad.
That is so sad.
Like she didn't ever not once look at you like when you were
with
married
adoration
young.
and admiration. And
what if like Jody was behind him? Whatever she was looking at him.
No,
don't ruin it for him.
I'm sorry. Like, dang, not one time. Okay.
So again, you wish that they could just stay in this happy space,
Right.
even if it's culty. You just wish they could stay there, just be happy.
Right.
Just,
if it's so great,
just
you should
sit
be
with
happy.
it. Right. But no.
Just be in your
because
little
what
cult.
happens next? COVID happens. And also a 5.8 earthquake that hit Salt Lake City. And they start feeling like it's doomsday. Like, this is the end, guys. This is the end of the world. It is here. Revelations is happening. And for some reason, Jody believes that Ruby has been called by God to help lead others to repentance.
Yeah.
Her and Ruby and herself. They're both like the prophets or whatever.
Yeah.
Ruby and herself.
Ruby and Jody.
They're like preparing for like doomsday. Like she was like putting away cans and like food and like you know supplies and stuff like that, and telling people like I'm working on this today. We're any day now.
Yeah, you know that they were the ones taking all the toilet paper.
Oh, those motherfuckers! They sure were.
That's a big family.
Food. Yeah.
That's a lot of people to steal.
Yeah. That probably was a hard day to be in Utah. Not a hard day, a hard time to be in Utah.
Yeah.
Like specifically in Utah, like if all of them are thinking that like not only COVID's happening, but also we think the end of the world is happening. Like you probably never was gonna see toilet paper for like a good 2 years.
But if you think it's the end of the world when you quit buying shit because you're about to die.
Well, no, because like I think Mormons think that like they're the chosen one. They're gonna survive it all as long as they have their resources.
Right,
they're good to go. They will somehow.
And they want to see Judgment Day through. Like it's like watching a really shit movie, but you can't stop
looking out their window.
You buy the popcorn.
See it through.
Yeah.
My bad.
And don't get me wrong. I personally do believe in like Jesus coming back, all of that and stuff like that. But like the way that Mormons have it in their head is it's a lot different. And the fact that they kind of like wigged out and is that a word? Wigged out. They pretty much spazzed out.
Yeah.
And in a major way where essentially they're broadcasting it. Weren't they broadcasting it out to other people? Like her videoing it and putting up videos?
Yeah, the end was coming.
Oh,
and
yeah, it was public.
Doomsday prepping. And she has multiple videos about it. And like she had about barrels of, I don't know, macaroni.
Well, and then Jody has her own too.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
stocking.
Yeah.
It's got to be the Velveeta stuff, though, if we're going to have barrels of it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Kraft Mac.
I'm really into that right now.
Yeah.
I've been craving it lately.
Oh.
Yeah. That and cinnamon bread. Got to stock up.
Maybe if I ever have my thingy, I'll make some What? Some what? That was so Canadian. Some backed mac and cheese. Or what's that like? Wisconsin? I don't know what that.
I'm dying.
Oh my gosh. Baked mac and cheese. I'm so sorry.
From New Jersey?
I don't know what that accent was.
Stick with you? You were only there for 36 hours.
I don't know. I think that was like Canadian mixed with like Wisconsin. I don't know what that was.
Did that come out all sudden?
I don't know. I might have a kilt under here. I don't know.